welcome to Ladies of Another View on Beck. I am Mary, and I am blessed to have April and Carmen with me today.
Hello.
It's going to be a fantastic day because, first of all, we're going to talk a little bit about that 2-hour speech, that rattle trap yesterday that happened. Two hours of rambling and bumbling. Yep. Okay, so we'll talk a little bit about that. Administrator Biden had a 2-hour deal, I guess, 1-year anniversary. But then in the second segment, we're going to talk to Pastor Dave Scarlett of His Glory Worldwide Ministry. He put together a movie regarding,
Fabulous.
It is, did you guys watch the trailer?
Yep.
We're going to have the trailer for you, but it's fantastic. You don't want to miss it because it's all the behind the scenes things that happened regarding the January 6th Trump rally out in Washington, D.C. So you'll get to see the other side of the story that mainstream media isn't sharing. But first of all, let's just hop into yesterday's 2-hour ramble. What was your guys' takeaway?
I'm not sure where we're supposed to start, but I think I should start talking like this. No, because that's very deliberate.
So we can keep up.
I mean, honestly, 2 hours, though, for him to come in public, I mean, that's almost his entire time that he spent talking during, you know, the candidacy.
Yeah.
Right. I can't believe that he said he's done more than any other president. And I do agree in some ways, like in his first year in office, because he's done more for the Taliban, for China. He's done more for oil-producing companies than I've seen any other president do.
Not American oil-producing
companies.
You said companies, you meant countries.
Oh, countries. My fault.
Yes.
Yeah, well, then I started thinking about the poor small businesses that are suffering. A lot of it was diluted, and there's plenty, but we can expand on that. I just thought it was crazy that he thinks he's done more.
Crazy.
Yeah. You know, I think what I caught, and the overall theme that I think we see, whether it's federal, state, even local sometimes, the theme of we're going to save you, we're going to make everything wonderful, and it's not going to cost you anything. But what they're saying is, what I got out of it is, name a sector, and the government, his Build Back Better means we're going to own more of the private economy in this country. Yep. We're going to have more government involvement, whether it's through regulation, but I think more so it'll be tax dollars going into those industries. And when that happens, that takes us closer and closer to socialism, where the government, we're now beholden in our private companies to have government make sure they give us enough. And then you think about the waste and the graft and everything that goes on with that, and we all pay for it. Mm-hmm. And is that really what we want as a country, to have, as a small business owner, we've got enough regulations, but then you stop and think all the public-private partnerships that go on, are they good for us? Because it sounds like we're going to get all this done with infrastructure, but we're not going to raise taxes. Well, number one, you're not going to. No, that's not true.
And that's not what he said either.
Oh, if you're under $400,000 in income for a year, and it's like, yeah, that's not true, because what they do is you're not going to see it on your income tax. Take a look at your bill from your, let's say, your telephone company. Yep. Let's say your Verizon or your whatever. Look at the taxes that have been tacked on there. Look at the taxes that go on different industries that bring things to your home, and you start looking at those figures. You take a look at what happens to your water and sewer and lights bill, you know, water and sewer even at a city level. We're not raising your taxes. Yes, you are, but you're putting it in my garbage and in my sewer and water. You know, things like that. I think people need to be aware how it happens.
I also feel like he negated that, because he also said, I'm not going to raise taxes, but then out of the other side of his mouth, he said that he was going to have a negative deficit for the budget. Well, you just did a $3 trillion plan. And someone asked him, well, how are you going to accomplish that? He goes, well, from all the jobs we created. So you're telling me from all the jobs that you created, you're going to have $3 trillion in taxes. Yeah. Right? Because how else would that pay for that? Like, it didn't make sense.
He doesn't plan on anybody paying for it. We're so far in debt, we don't pay it off anyway. Right. So instead of Build Back Better, it's Build Back Broker is what.
And they still haven't done. They passed it, but they haven't done anything with it, as far as I've seen either.
Right. Well, and you know, I think we all ought to really do a double take when, I don't care who's the president, when they say we created I think we're up to billions now that we're supposed to thank the, government for creating these jobs. And it's like, no, government does not create jobs unless government is growing themselves to take over more of the country. Then you have more federal employees, more state employees. I get that. But I think the 6 million he's talking about, I don't think they were all federal employees. Where's he getting that number? Is it not private companies who have decided to build something?
Right.
Or is it a lot of nonprofits that the way they survive is on government grants, which we pay for as well?
Money.
That's taxpayer money. So where are these jobs? And I think it's not that he lies, it's that he doesn't tell the truth.
Right.
And so that's a big deal.
Sure. Yeah. So then he almost started a war with Russia.
I was going to say, we have to talk about Russia.
Yeah, let's take a quick peek at this clip.
And so I think what you're going to see is that Russia will be held accountable if it invades. And it depends on what it does. It's one thing if it's a minor incursion and then we end up having a fight about what to do and not do, et cetera. But if they actually do what they're capable of doing with the force amassed on the border, it is going to be a disaster for Russia if they further invade Ukraine, and that our allies and partners are ready to impose severe cost and significant harm on Russia and the Russian economy. And, we're going to fortify our NATO allies, I told him, on the eastern flank, if in fact he does invade. I've already shipped over $600 million worth of sophisticated equipment, defensive equipment, to the Ukrainians. The cost of going into Ukraine in terms of physical loss of life for the Russians, they'll be able to prevail over time, but it's going to be heavy. It's going to be real. It's going to be consequential. In addition to that, Putin has a stark choice. Either de-escalation or diplomacy, a confrontation of the consequences. And look.
Wow. So, and he's sending equipment over to the Ukraine, right? 600 million. Yeah. Why not just send what he left over in the Middle East?
Yeah.
Last year.
Because he can't get his hands on it anymore.
The Taliban has it, right? Yeah. But anyway, let's take a look at what Zelensky had to say after that. It's Vladimir Zelensky. He said, we want to remind the great powers that there are no minor incursions in small nations, just as there are no minor casualties and little grief from the loss of loved ones. I say this as the president of a great power. So that was from the Ukraine. And it's like, I'm just at a loss for words. I really am.
He doesn't want to be held accountable. So it's what is a minor incursion, right? Or it's kind of like Afghanistan. What was a withdrawal, right? Mm-hmm. But if later, as he starts to unravel towards the end, he flat out told us, he was like, yeah, they're going to invade.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to accept that.
Right.
And Jen Psaki came on a press conference immediately after and was like, that is not what, we did not okay for Russia to go ahead and go in. It's just, everything he says has two sides to it, and it's just accountability is never taken. And then anytime he says something he's uncomfortable with, he pulls the race card and goes back to, and those of you who are keeping minorities from wanting to vote.
Yeah.
Which is, let's just fall back on that every time. All right, so we're going to have to move along. We've got to take a quick break, but after the break, we're going to visit with Pastor Dave Scarlett with his Glory Worldwide Ministry regarding the movie that they just made about January 6th. Right after this on Ladies of Another View, on back.
My name is Jolene Kepler, and I work for Tribal Health Education. Our health education staff encourages our Native American women to get screened right away for breast and cervical cancer. There's a lot of our women in our community that take care of their grandchildren, and I tell them, if you're not there, who's going to take care of your grandchildren? Early detection is the best protection for our Native American women.
The Kim Albert Agency, offering insurance protection for all that's precious to you. Auto, home, business, and life, along with RV, boat, motorcycle, and renter's insurance. With the Kim Albert Agency, you're in good hands.
I'm Rick Becker.
And I'm Lori Hins.
Welcome to No Apologies, your after-hours oasis of sanity.
Your retreat begins at 9 Central on Beck News and online at beck.news.
Hi, I'm Dennis Haugen, along with my sons Andy and Mike, and we're showing our support for wind energy in North Dakota. Wind energy has provided farmers like us with a steady stream of income that's not tied to the weather like crops and cattle are.
Another bonus is that wind farm owners are required to maintain the roads leading up to the turbines. Because of that, oftentimes these roads are the best in the county.
Wind energy is good for landowners, it's good for the land, it's good for our economy, and it's good for North Dakota.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
Pub 21, your one stop for fun, drinks, and food. Our spacious facility provides COVID-safe fun for you and all your friends. With nightly bingo and specials, you can be sure there's something to do for everyone. If you're staying in for the night, we've got you covered just across the way with Pub 21 Liquor. We have a wide variety of options, from wine to whiskey and everything in between. Stop in today at 1014 South 12th Street in Bismarck to see what all the buzz is about. You won't be disappointed.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. I'm excited for this segment because we have a fantastic guest coming up. It's Pastor Dave Scarlett, and he is with His Glory Worldwide Ministry. And he, along with some other investors, decided to do the movie. It's called Capital Punishment. Dave, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, ladies, for having me. It's a pleasure.
Great. You know, we don't. We're going to keep you here for a few segments, but what we want to do is quickly. Why don't you just tell us why you decided to do this movie, or why it was so important?
Well, it was important because the people that showed up, that I was there that particular day, the people there that day were patriots, and there were Christians praying for this nation, for a revival to get our country back. And then once the truth started coming out, nobody wanted to touch this with a 100-foot pole. Today, even the CNNs, the Fox News, they won't even take advertising dollars to get this movie out. It is the most censored movie in the United States by far, because once you see this movie, you see the truth of what truly happened on January 6th.
Great. So let's not leave our viewers hanging. Let's quickly watch the clip.
This is treason.
Where's officer? I can't breathe. I can't even.
And hey, man.
I'm Nick Searcy. On January 6, 2021, I went to Washington, D.C. along with multitudes of other Americans because we believed that the election was stolen. I saw with my own eyes what happened that day, and what they show you on the media doesn't tell half the story.
Here's the Capitol, and here's people going in there. They didn't show all of this out here.
I saw people of all colors, races, creeds, Asian Americans for Trump, blacks for Trump. I even saw a guy wearing a shirt that said fags for Trump. And since I'm from California, I knew that guy.
We're from Iowa.
Nashville, Tennessee.
And I'm here standing with my fellow patriots. We all standing for America.
Despite what the media tells you, boots on ground definitely say something different. There is a sea of nothing but red, white, and blue patriots.
These are damn working people. They want their country back.
We're marching for the Constitution. We're not. It ain't really about Trump. It's about us now. They're attacking us, and we're tired of it.
We had a foreign attack, and they had domestic support. This is about individual liberty. We don't believe the media. We don't believe you. We have no faith in our institutions.
The FBI is now being sent out by Joe Biden to punish people.
We're at war. They're hunting down Trump supporters like dogs.
Let me say that again. We're at war. 147 days since my wife was murdered and executed.
The FBI, you have a federal search warrant for the property. Come out with your hands.
Step out, I have red dots all over my chest.
They broke the door down. Hands up, put your hands on the wall, hands up.
I was in jail for 4 straight days. I kept banging on the door saying, I have never had a phone call.
The 6th was all deception.
The level of sophistication and tactic is immense.
Oh, I recognize you from Portland.
I've seen people from Portland here, Antifa.
I was paid to pretend to protest.
We need to come together as Americans again and remember why we started this country.
An insurrection? Without arms? What are they talking about? And why are they lying?
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, just speechless. I mean, I can't wait to watch it. First of all, before we start talking about it, I want to know, how can people find this show?
Again, as I said, this is the most suppressed movie ever. They wouldn't even take advertising on the big cable stations. You can go and the social media sites are censoring this, shadow banning it, and even taking it to the domain level of shadow banning. So you can go to hisglory.tv to get it. You can go to www.hisglory.me and you can get to His Glory TV from there. And you can get the His Glory app and you can get the capital punishment from there. But the main place is hisglory.tv. You'll be able to download the movie or get the DVD or both. Many are buying these in 50s and 100s, and they're giving them out to witness to people of what's going on in the world.
Okay, all right. So I guess to just start from the beginning, you know, we only have a few minutes, we'll carry over into the next segment, but just tell us how it got started. How did you line the people up? How did it, you know, what was the motivation? I mean, we know what the motivation is, but how did you get it organized for everyone to come together?
Are you talking about the movie itself?
The movie.
Yeah, the movie itself was all in God's hands. That's why it's the name of our ministry, says Glory. I met actor Nick Searcy a couple weeks before all this came about. I had no idea he was going to do a movie. His investors fell through and nobody else wanted to touch it. So he picks up the phone. His first phone call after that is to me. And I said, absolutely, we'd love to help. And we made one more phone call after that. And a long story, within 24 hours, we were able to put the funding together and go out and get the truth out, which has been a big risk because the day Chris Burgard, Nick Searcy, and I were talking about the date to release this movie, they were tapping our phone lines, and we had a FBI helicopter actually hovering over our studio as we spoke, just as we got off the phone.
Wow, that is amazing.
I want to ask questions, but I don't even know where to start with it. You know, have you been threatened at all?
Yes. Yeah. Many threats. That comes with me being a pastor, but also I was a Marine too. So I'm used to that. And it's one of the reasons why I think the Lord picked us to be brave, to get the truth out there. And once the truth gets out, and it's going to get out because that whole narrative is falling down every single day. You know, we see Ray Epps is being outed now. We see the shooting bird, Aaron Babbitt, the husband of Ashley Babbitt. Him and I have been communicating, and he has some bombshell information that he's about ready to come out with. Mickey Babbitt was on stage with me last week. This is Ashley Babbitt's mother. on stage with me at the General Flynn Reawaken tour with Chris Burgard, and there wasn't a dry eye in the whole place. The truth is coming out. That's why they've pushed back so hard. They don't want you to see this movie, because once you see the truth, and the truth is video, it's evidence, everything changes. Their narrative is falling apart.
All right, so we just have a minute left in this segment. What made you go that particular day on January 6th, 2021?
Because I'm a Marine and a patriot, I see that if we don't put Jesus and God back into this country, we're going to lose this republic. So that's why we went there, and we were there to pray. We were there to meet other fellow His Glory members. And I just happened to be at the Capitol building when all this went down, and we were able to film it. So I knew exactly what was happening. And I saw the three-letter agencies getting involved, which they shouldn't be. Black Lives Matter, Antifa, changing their shirts into MAGA gear right before my very eyes.
Wow. Okay, so hang on to those thoughts. We're going to talk about that next. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to talk about how, he saw people changing clothes and the paid protesters. We'll talk about that next on Ladies of Another View on Back.
Let me turn your dreams into an address. I'm Jamie Sorensen, full-time realtor at Alliance Real Estate. I do my best to provide the very best service I possibly can for my clients. I'm not afraid to ask the hard questions and find solutions to the difficult problems. And I strive to be one of the hardest working realtors in the Bismarck-Mandan area. As your realtor, I'm here to help you through that process. I want to make it a smooth transition, and I want to make it fun. If you're ready to turn your dreams into an address, call me today. I look forward to working with you.
Courgette wants the home run ball to JT Stokes. Looking deep, he's got Harvey. Courgette wants his second touchdown pass, give it to him. Look at end zone, did he come down with
it? Ever been in a cave before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the car!
How will we?
The car! Your offer has been accepted. Ever bought a house before?
It's our first time.
All right.
Where are you going?
I'll see you at the closing.
But how will we?
The closing!
Hi, it's me, Anthony Sullivan. And yes, you've actually caught me at home relaxing, because life's been pretty worry-free since I got coverage with American Residential Warranty.
You won't believe what ARW covers. Heating and air conditioning, washers and dryers, kitchen appliances, plumbing, water heaters, electrical systems, flat screens and laptops, even pools and spas, and so much more.
Call American Residential Warranty. They'll get you covered.
1-800-219-1467.
We are rewriting Hollywood's script for our kids. I'm pop culture expert Tina Griffin, and as a former Hollywood actress, I'm giving you a behind-the-scenes look at how today's entertainment is eroding the foundational development of America's youth, and how to safely navigate this pop culture chaos. Knowledge is power. Parents want solutions. It's time to get the power back in your hands and reclaim the right to decide who and what should influence your kids.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. Central Time on Beck TV. Now you can have the personalized forecast at your fingertips when you need it. Beck's exclusive Weather Insight is information tailored to you. Radar, weather alerts, forecasts, and videos. Download the free Weather on Beck News app. Search your app store now.
If you don't know what's going on in education in this country, then you don't know what's going to happen to the future of this country. It's important. I'm Dr. Duke.
And I'm Katie. Watch the Dr. Duke Show weekdays at 2:30 p.m. Central Time on Beck TV.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We are visiting with Pastor Dave Scarlett, who also just so happens to be a Marine. Now, isn't that who you'd want on your side, a pastor and a Marine?
Yes.
You know, fight
Yep.
both ways. You got everything. Anyway, Dave, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
And tell us a little bit about where we left off, about these people that were changing clothes and the paid protesters.
Yeah, you're going to see this captured in the video with them in some cases admitting it. But from my own personal perspective, I saw Antifa and Black Lives walking down side streets, clearly having Antifa and Black Lives Matter shirts on, and then just boldly putting MAGA gear on and going into the crowds. They didn't really try to hide it that much. And then I could tell by the instigation and being a Marine and seeing how people work. And we do have a former Marine Recon FBI specialist that worked with the Capitol Police. And he says in his expert opinion in the movie that this was indeed infiltrated by a 3-letter organization. We know what those 3 letters are. They were the only ones there. There were many of them there. And we know Ray Epps' name is popping up tremendously now since this. Ray Epps is in the movie. I personally saw the Capitol Police move back the barriers and let people into the Capitol building. We have 2 twin sisters that are 74 years old that were investigated by the FBI because they were escorted into the Capitol building by the Capitol Police. But the FBI thought these 74-year-old women were such a threat, they had to go and intimidate them.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? You know, I know we had a guest on before that had talked about just how deliberate the rioting was and the inciting the crowd. And I know when he was on, I looked for the footage of the vans pulling up, letting shirts off, signs out and things like, because I remember immediately afterwards you could see like the Antifa people going in and hopping out of the van and changing their clothes, but they're completely scrubbed. I mean, I looked for hours and I couldn't find anything on the internet that remotely shows that now. But I mean, I saw it with my own eyes immediately afterwards. You know, it's crazy.
Yes, what a needed movie. And you know, it reminds me of so many other things that we're seeing as far as this whole past 4 years of our history, so much that's been suppressed. And thank God for you and your efforts and your willingness and your faith to go ahead and do this, because truth is truth. And I think, you know, pastors speaking up, I heard you say that on a different interview, and I think this movie is real proof that our pastors are what built this nation to begin with. And I love the fact that I'm hearing you amongst a few others are actually speaking up and saying, no, we will keep our country. We will not go to our graves knowing we didn't give our all in one way, shape, or form. And I just thank you for that.
Well, thank you. People ask me that all the time. What about prison? I said, well, it was good enough for the disciples of Jesus, prison ministry. Isn't that what we're called to do? And that's where the true church needs to step up in the name of Jesus Christ and our country. You mentioned it perfect. That was it was a Black Robe Regiment. They have a Bible in one hand and a musket the other. That's how this country was founded, on our Constitution. And we need to have more people behind the pulpit that are fighting for this great republic, because God is not done with the United States of America yet.
Right. Amen. And do you have you had contact now with the people that are still being incarcerated with no charges and not being treated well at all? Have you had contact with them, and is that any part of this movie?
We are working to try to put the right fund together at the appropriate time. It's a process that you have to vet so that we can help them with legal funds. What they're trying to do is bleed them dry financially so that they'll do a plea deal to make it look like they're guilty. A good example is my friend Coy Griffin, Cowboys for Trump. He was outside of the Capitol building, he was probably 40 yards away from the Capitol building. He was praying in a microphone or in a megaphone. That's all he was doing. They put him in jail for 9 straight days, no phone calls, cockroaches in his cell, and just rotten bologna sandwiches for 9 straight days.
And so how do they explain that away? I mean, we all know prisoners are treated pretty fair, and there's a lot of lawsuits if you're not treated fairly. How do they think they can get away with this one group of people?
Because they're trying to suppress it. If you don't see what the truth is, and you listen to the narrative of the fake news that is out there, that this was all about Donald Trump. This truly really didn't have much to do with Donald Trump at all. I mean, yes, there was MAGA gear there, but this was more about praying for our nation and patriotism. You know, Nick Searcy talks about, this was like a tailgate party. I'd say, yeah, it was a tailgate party without the alcohol. We were in prayer. There's 2 million people there praying.
Wow, interesting.
So when you think about everything that went on that day, can you give us, just off the top of your head, what are some of your highlights that really stick with you and you maybe wake up dreaming about them or whatever? Any particular highlight moments?
Yeah, just witnessing that in the United States of America and how they would spin this narrative that when I saw with my own eyes, and we have it captured on film. And then you see just the bully tactics of our own government coming after us. They went after one of our cameramen too, to try to get footage that they have, intimidation at every level. You wouldn't believe that this could happen in the United States of America. That's again why it's so important that the American people and the world for that matter, because the world looks at the United States of America to be that beacon of light, that hope for the rest of the world, that we are not going to tolerate this, and it has to be exposed. Because once the American people see exactly what happened, the narrative's changing, and we can see it happening already. Even though they're suppressing this movie, it's starting to get out, and nothing they're going to do is going to be able to stop that. And more people are becoming, their eyes are open to what is happening in the United States of America, and they're saying no more.
Okay, so do you have any attorneys or people that are coming after you in that sense too? It's like, this is all fake. You guys have set it up. None of it's real. You're spreading false lies. Anything like that going on?
Actually, believe it or not, that's a great question, because no. Matter of fact, there's been 2 liberal newspapers that wrote favorable articles on this. They thought so their approach wasn't to attack us directly through lawsuits. Their approach was to try to shadow ban and do things that some of my contacts in the military said, I don't know how they're doing it. And so it was shadow banning, using the high tech, not getting advertising, and just hoping it would go away and that we would give up. Well, this Marine and this pastor's not giving up, and neither is Nick Searcy. And there's 3 American generals that are not giving up that are in this movie: General Flynn, General McInerney, and General Boykin, and the truth is going to get out.
And this is a war of information. I think it always has been a war of information, and it's good versus evil. And when in history has it ever been good when a country or a power limits knowledge, limits the press, limits freedom of speech? I mean, we're at a point now where you're not even allowed to have your own opinion if it's not the mainstream opinion, or you're, discredited and tossed to the side and banned as bad things. Sometimes it's like you just want to hear the rumors that people are saying about you because you don't agree with them.
Right.
I just can't believe the suppression of information and knowledge. And I honestly can't believe that the American people are sitting back and believing it, too. Because it's like the sky is blue, and they tell you, no, it's green. And on with today. It's just unbelievable. And thank you so much for your service, first of all, but also for just providing this for us, because you can't battle facts. They always say, look at the science. 1 + 2 is 3. Well, when you see it with your own eyes, you can't fight that. And thank you.
Right. And
Thank
can
you
you
so
tell
much.
us, Dave, do you know of any cases? I know that some of the prisoners apparently there are lawyers that are taking their grievances to court, but is anything getting close to hitting the Supreme Court? You can't hold people like this with no charges. That is totally illegal.
Yeah, well, Coy Griffin is fighting this, and every time they fight him, they push back his case back, hopefully to ride out the clock or for him to give up, but they won't. He's not going to give up. He's going to let it go to discovery, and that's what we need to do. We let it go to discovery, and you're seeing each and every day more pieces of the truth are coming out to destroy that narrative. And once people see the movie, it's over. Their eyes are awake.
Well, right. Okay, so we're going to have to take another quick break here, and we'll follow up with that movie after this break. We've got so much more to talk about on Ladies of Another View on Back.
Since opening in Hebron in 1940, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your hometown bank. Our mission has been to provide modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. We've grown with the communities we serve through year-round events, countless sponsorships, and nearly 7,000 hours of volunteering each year. Learn more about our 80-year history at dakotacommunitybank.com.
Killdeer, North Dakota is the home of beautiful scenery, rich history, outdoor recreation, rodeo, cowboy country, and western excitement. Killdeer is your place for indoor and outdoor recreation, including the Lewis and Clark Trail, Little Missouri State Park, Theodore Roosevelt National Park, Lake Ilo National Wildlife Refuge and Nature Playscape, the Killdeer Mountain Four Bears Scenic Byway, Lake Sakakawea, and the Dunn Center BMX Pump Track. Experience the old-fashioned western hospitality of Killdeer. See more at killdeer.com.
The experienced professionals at Superior Glass provide residential and commercial glass installation and repair services in central and western North Dakota. Superior Glass is your source for stained glass projects, mirrors, windows, touchless, and automated entry solutions. Stop by and see us at 3323 East Broadway in Bismarck or call us at 701-258-5600. Superior Glass, where you get superior service for less. Bye for now.
When you can't find answers to your recurring health challenges, it can feel like your health and your future are being held hostage. The Wellness Way is a network of health restoration clinics that think and act differently to solve the health challenges others can't. Here, we disrupt the standard approach to care through a combination of testing, individual plans, and one-on-one guidance, putting your health and your future where they belong, in your own hands.
Flag flies. Courgette wants the home run ball to JT Stokes. Look at deep. He's got Harvey. Courgette wants his second touchdown pass. Give it to him. Look at end zone. Did he come down with it?
The experienced professionals at Superior Glass provide residential and commercial glass installation and repair services in central and western North Dakota. Superior Glass is your source for stained glass projects, mirrors, windows, touchless, and automated entry solutions. Stop by and see us at 3323 East Broadway in Bismarck or call us at 701-258-5600. Superior Glass, where you get superior service for less. Bye for now.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. We are visiting with Pastor Dave Scarlett from his worldwide ministry, and we're so excited to visit with you today, Dave. Okay, so we're talking on the break a little bit. What can Americans do right now?
What Americans need to do, as this is something that we're doing in the Clay Clark, General Flynn, and Reawaken tours, is that Americans need to stand up and take action at the local level. Local level has consequences. No matter whatever your age, whether you're a mama bear, a papa bear, you're older, everybody can get involved in the local level, whether it's your school board, whether it's your county clerk, whether it's your sheriff. And we see under our Constitution how much authority the sheriff has. And most people don't even know who their sheriff is in their county. We have to get it back at the local level, and each and every person has to make a difference, and they have to go out there. Because the strongest part of our Constitution, I carry my Constitution with me everywhere I go, it's we the people. And we the people are the majority, and we the people stand up and become the majority. We elect these people, and we need to put the right people in place that honor the Lord and honor this great country and this great republic that God is not done with.
You know, and a lot of people think that this is just an America problem, but I think this is a world problem. This is a one world order problem. Can you expand on that?
That's exactly true. They're trying to speed up Satan's timeline. It's not time yet for these end time events. We know it is the times of the end, but it's not time for the book of Revelation, the beast system. But they're pushing it on us quickly. And it is a one world order. It is trying to create a one world government. And we're seeing other countries rise up. And that's why it's so important. Again, we, the people in the United States of America, we are that hope for the rest of the world. If we stand up and make a difference in this country, the rest of the world will join in, and they are joining in. We are a worldwide ministry, literally in every country of the world. And I hear it every single day that we're praying for America. We're supporting America, and we will follow America. America will be great again.
Amen. Let's just get on our knees and keep praying.
Yes. Yep. That's so true. The prayer part, and you know, I learned a saying long ago, and it's so true in my life, and it was powerful for me, but I'm responsible for the effort and God for the outcome. And I think sometimes I paralyze myself because I want to control that outcome of any little thing that I do to help protect freedom. And it's not up to me to get that outcome. It's up to me to put in the action and trust God. And that's the way I look at it anyway. And I think when I hear you with this movie and everything you had to have gone through, all of you, to get it all put together, you did the action, and now it's on God, you know, and still you're doing the action as far as getting it out there. But what is he going to do with your efforts? Do you kind of go down that path too in your thinking?
No, I just follow directions. I'm a Marine that just follows orders from my commander in chief, which is his glory, my Lord and Savior. And he tells me to do it. I go in faith, and no matter what the battle is, he is going to pave the way, and it's all for his purpose and his glory. I came from the corporate world, and I didn't ever think I would be a pastor. I died, saw heaven, a real life heaven experience, saw Jesus when I came back, and he says, "You're out of corporate America, my son. The rest of the time, you're going to glorify my name." And that's where we've done that through the ministry of his glory.
Wow. So that's a pretty big statement. Can you just briefly tell us what happened? How did that happen? And I mean, that's pretty prophetic. Just in a nutshell, how did that happen? What happened?
I had it was something very rare called botulism toxin. I ate on 7/7/7, and long story short, it paralyzes your central nervous system. I was put on a respirator, and they lost me 3 times. And out of those 3 times, 2 times, I had near-death experiences. 1 time taken up to heaven, saw my whole life, the beauty, the lights, the just the unconditional love. And then the 2nd time they tried to take me off the breathing tube, I was hovering in great peace and love and light above all the doctors at the Cleveland Clinic as they were rushed to try to get me back. And as they brought me back, the Lord says, "I have a plan for you, my son." And the plan is his glory. So I was faithful and got into the word and gave up corporate America to get into the ministry where you don't make any money. So if that's what, that's what I'll do.
Your rewards are much greater than money.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, amen.
Right.
Wow. I
came from money. In the corporate world, I had money.
Right, right.
But there's a lot more in life than money. Money doesn't make you happy. Money doesn't make you secure. Money doesn't make you safe. Money doesn't save your family. You know, and really, at the end of the day, I have a saying very similar to what you said, and it's do your best so God can do the rest. And you know, all things are possible through faith and discipline. And life is not easy, and we all pick our hard, right? And once again, this is a war of information, and you've made that much less hard for everyone with this movie. Right. So I just can't wait. My husband's going to be so excited to watch this.
Right. So what is the favorite part of your movie? Like, what would you tell, like, just without giving it all away, what are some of the highlights?
Well, I'd have to say that the dancing scene at the end with me and Nick Cersei, but no. I'm not a good dancer. Ask my wife. But I would say the most heartfelt part is the part about Aaron Babbitt talking about his wife and what happened to their dog. Literally died of a broken heart. It's just so tragic. And when you see the film of all this happening, and you see how first responders did not respond at all to her after she got shot, you can't believe that this could actually happen. It's sad. It's very sad.
Most people don't even know what happened. I was talking about it with some of my clients, and they're like, "Oh, is that the girl that got hit with the fire hydrant? Is that the girl that got crushed by the crowd?" They don't even actually know the truth of what happened because there were so many differing stories to cover up what actually did happen.
And it was suppressed.
Yeah.
Her name, her identity, they didn't
and
want
the
people
person
to
who
know.
shot her.
Right, right. What happened to that person that shot her? Do we know?
Yeah, they cleared him without even talking to him.
Wow.
And once you see the movie, there is no question it was murder. You can see the whole process. He shoots.
And that was during a really turbulent time right here in America when they were, you know, with the Minneapolis situation with the white cop and with the black criminal, for lack of a better term. And so here
George
we have
Floyd.
a black
George
cop
Floyd.
with a white woman, and it didn't even hit the news. Nothing hit the news. Now, if that would have been reversed, it would have been a whole different situation. Yeah. But that's for another show. But
Yeah, because if that would have hit the news, it was far deeper because it would have turned the whole narrative. Then you start
Right.
peeling back the onion, and you're going to get to the truth about what happened. This was all orchestrated. This was all a setup.
Right.
and so how long do you think they had been planning it?
Months. This was so well planned out from somebody in the shadow government. We know who they are. I'm not going to say it publicly. Let God deal with them, and the truth is going to come out daily. But this was planned through Antifa, Black Lives Matter, 3-letter organizations. Certain members of both parties were involved, and the truth will get out.
And when you say 3-letter organizations, we're referring to the FBI, the CIA, and
Well, we don't know about the CIA, but the FBI, it's been, they couldn't even answer the question, were there people on the ground, yes or no? And they punted at the committee hearing.
Yeah.
We know they were on the ground. We have experts to show that they were on the ground. And now they're calling Ray Epps to the January 6th committee. So this whole truth, this whole facade of lies is starting to crumble right before our very eyes. There's more pieces and parts of this coming out every day where the truth is coming out. And it's just a matter of time before this movie explodes.
Sure. And so tell our viewers who Ray Epps is.
He was the gentleman that you saw on video, who was on the FBI's most wanted, but never arrested. He was the one instigating them to go into the Capitol building the night before and the day of. And there was actually true MAGA people that supported President Trump and patriots that said, no, don't listen to him. He's a Fed, he's a Fed, he's a Fed. And they called him out. And he was hiding in Arizona. And now it looks like he's going to have to answer some questions. We'll see how many questions he truly has to answer. But the truth will get out there.
Yeah, because he was like one of the most wanted people. And then all of a sudden he was just off the list and nobody knew where he was and had to answer no questions. Yet we have normal, everyday moms and dads sitting in prison eating rotten bologna sandwiches with no discovery. They don't know what their charges are. They can't make a phone call. And then we have, I mean, it's unbelievable. And then you go to places like New York where they're letting criminals out. You didn't kill anyone? That's okay. Go ahead.
Right.
It's unbelievable. What kind of country does that to their people? Once again, never in history is that been okay to treat your people like that.
Right.
Right?
Okay, so Pastor, we're simply running out of time here. So what are your final thoughts?
Final thoughts are, please go see this movie. Get it at hisglory.tv. Share it with your friends and family. This is more than just a movie. This has nothing to do about a movie. This has to do with getting our country back, getting the truth back, and getting Christ back at the center of this great nation. We put Christ back in the center of this nation, and we get the right people in place, and we take this great nation back in Jesus' name. That's what they're fearful of. And we, the people, need to stand up, gather together, and take action, even if that action is at the lower level. Everybody listening to this can do something, and we have to do something, and some have to do more than others.
All right. Well, thanks again, Pastor Dave, for joining us today. We really appreciate it. We hope our viewers go ahead, check out, get that movie, download it, buy it, do whatever you can to see it, and share it, because there's so much to share.
Yes.
Thanks again for being here with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care now.
All right. Well, we'll be right back after this on Ladies of Another View on Back.
Killdeer, North Dakota is the home of beautiful scenery, rich history, outdoor recreation, rodeo, cowboy country, and western excitement. Killdeer is your place for indoor and outdoor recreation, including the Lewis and Clark Trail, Little Missouri State Park, Theodore Roosevelt National Park, Lake Ilo National Wildlife Refuge and Nature Playscape, the Killdeer Mountain Four Bears Scenic Byway, Lake Sakakawea, and the Dunn Center BMX Pump Track. Experience the old-fashioned western hospitality of Killdeer. See more at killdeer.com.
Courgette wants the home run ball to JT Stokes. Looking deep, he's got Harvey. Courgette wants his second touchdown pass, give it to him. Look at end zone, did he come down with it?
Now Now you can have the personalized forecast at your fingertips when you need it. Beck's exclusive Weather Insight is information tailored to you. Radar, weather alerts, forecasts, and videos. Download the free Weather on Beck News app. Search your app store now.
The Kim Albert Agency, offering insurance protection for all that's precious to you. Auto, home, business, and life, along with RV, boat, motorcycle, and renter's insurance. With the Kim Albert Agency, you're in good hands.
Let me turn your dreams into an address. I'm Jamie Sorensen, full-time realtor at Alliance Real Estate. I do my best to provide the very best service I possibly can for my clients. I'm not afraid to ask the hard questions and find solutions to the difficult problems. And I strive to be one of the hardest working realtors in the Bismarck-Mandan area. As your realtor, I'm here to help you through that process. I want to make it a smooth transition and I want to make it fun. If you're ready to turn your dreams into an address, call me today. I look forward to working with you.
40 years ago, Aero Service Team started with one truck and lots of hard work.
Times may have changed, but the hard work that we put in to get your lives back in order after a fire, water, and disaster hasn't.
Over the years, we've seen so many families lose their belongings due to water and fire damage. Restoring homes back to the original state has made every hour of hard work well worth it.
Thank you for trusting our family with yours.
When disaster strikes, you only have to make one call. Aero Service Team does it all.
Abraham Lincoln said it best. The philosophy of the classroom in one generation will be the philosophy of government in the next. I'm Dr. Duke.
And I'm Katie. Watch the Dr. Duke Show weekdays at 2:30 p.m. Central Time on Beck TV.
Welcome back to Ladies of Another View on Beck. What an interesting guest.
He was fabulous.
You know, and it's so much information out there that mainstream media isn't sharing. So we encourage you to go ahead and get that movie, download it, buy it. Sounds like you can get it in a DVD or download it on a smart app, smart TV, whatever. But this brings us to our lighter side. This is a cute little story about a little boy, a little infant. He had never heard his parents' voice before, so I don't want to ruin it for you. Let's just quickly go to the clip.
Ready? Right. It's going to take a minute to start up because the device, first of all, is not turned on. And then once we do turn it on, there is a time delay. Okay, sweetie. This one I might have guessed the length of the tube. Maybe not quite. Oh, right. Yeah, let's see what happens. It's not on all the way yet, and now it's on. Hello.
Hey, Graham. Hey. Hey.
Wow.
Almost brings tears to my eyes.
Doesn't
it?
it?
It did bring
And
to mine.
It's like, how sweet. And this poor child has never heard before and was frustrated with getting the earpiece in. And all of a sudden he can hear and you can just see the joy overcome him. It just filled his body.
And the awe, just the awe where he just sat there just like, what is it?
You could almost tell he knew it was his mom's voice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's just beautiful.
It was. It absolutely was. And it kind of reminds me, too, of even today. You know, it's like so many people's ears and eyes get opened by different situations. So it's not just necessarily, you know, getting hearing aids for the first time, but sometimes you hear something and it's like you don't want to hear it. Like he didn't want that hearing aid in. And just like that, it just, maybe I do want to hear this.
Yeah. It opens doors, it opens windows, it opens new thoughts, it opens, oh my gosh, you know, and possibilities and all those things that, you know, for the little guy, it was probably just like not that complicated, but for adults, it can be overwhelming, it can be joy, it can be, oh my gosh. I think about times where I've heard somebody speak and it's like they're telling part of my story, you know, and it's like, I'm not alone. Yeah. You know, I'm not, you know, some people think they're a freak show because nobody else is like this, and then they hear somebody talk and they go, oh my gosh, I have somebody that knows, you know, and there's a piece in that you don't get by reading a book or anything else, that God made us to be community and to communicate with each other, and when we do that, how much that can fill spaces in us, just like that little boy having heard for the first time, you know? I think it's so beautiful.
It is.
So
it
beautiful.
Is. Wow. So, ladies, I was just down in Phoenix last week, and I happened to pop in on the Reawaken tour, talked to Doug Billings, and he kind of, because it was late thoughts to try to go ahead and get to the Reawaken tour, but bumped into some people that I'd met down in the Dallas Patriot Rally last July, and Gene Ho is actually going to come on the show, or he's going to, via video, I should say, but he is President Trump's personal photographer, so he's going to be on our show in February.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah, pretty
and
exciting.
And he has quite a story too, so that'll be fun to have him on and have him share some of that too.
Right. I ran into Seth Holhouse. You know, he's always amazing, man in America.
Yep.
And so all kinds of patriots, just bumped into them, and it's kind of fantastic when they recognize Beck News at these different conferences. It's amazing that the contacts that you make, and that the guests that we will be bringing on the show just through those contacts.
Yep. Right. Right.
So
for sure.
Anyway, there's more of those Reawaken tours coming up. But final thoughts for the day, ladies?
Well, today was some reawaken for me. I was almost like a deer in the headlights watching the trailer for Capital Punishment, because I just have a hard time wrapping my head around what happened in the suppression of it's so hard to believe. And I was one of those people that wasn't awake, or that couldn't hear, or that couldn't see. And I remember when I was like, oh, Trump, he's just the worst, you know, like, but I just feel blessed, like, for this show and for opportunities to learn and to grow and to not only open my own eyes, but to help other people open their eyes.
Amen.
It's beautiful.
Amen.
It's a God thing, and God's working. That's what I take
Amen.
away. He is.
Amen.
He definitely is.
All right, so we want to thank you for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the guests that we had. Go ahead and download the movie, His Glory, and the name of the movie is Capital Punishment, and it's eye-opening. So we'll see you next time on Ladies of Another View on Beck.